Hi friends, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Lucknow. Am I audible, Arindam? Great. Thank you so much, Arindam. Thank you, Advait. Actually, guys, I'm traveling and I'm in a remote town in Odisha. So, sincere apologies if there are any internet bandwidth related challenges. But since I have committed long back that I would be interacting with students, I thought in all fairness I should be getting on to this call. So I hope all of you are really doing good. Fantastic. Yenugu. Yenugu Dhanushmant. Thank you for that warm welcome. Kanan Shah, very good afternoon. Garjot, very good afternoon. I hope all of you are really doing well. Hi Radhika, Siddhi, Sikruti Dash, Ankit, Kirtan, Karan, and lot many other friends. So guys, this is my plan. I think, today, right now we have 44 people, in fact, logged in. So what I'm going to do is I'll wait for another 5 minutes. Then we will kickstart with our discussion. Max 5 minutes. And post that, we will kickstart. We will go ahead with our plan, irrespective of the number of people that we have. Yeah? Hi, Anurag. Gurpreet. Just there are 38 people. I hope rest of your friends are informed. Hi, Raghav, Adya, Ambika, Divya. Very good afternoon. Hi, Tanisha. You guys are still in your respective hometowns, or you have started working and learning from your respective campuses. I am Lucknow in this case. Hi, Vidushi, Ankit, Tanisha, Mahesh. Hope all of you had your lunch also, because this is lunchtime and you're not hungry. Thank you, Gargi. I'm doing good. Hi, Aditya, Abhinav. So, guys, today's session is precisely for 60 minutes. And here is my plan. Roughly for around 40 minutes or so, I will share my experience of dealing with unprecedented situation like this. I'll also take you through my career journey and what has been some of the key challenges, key learnings, and to the extent possible, I'll be blunt and honest while sharing those learnings. And hopefully, by 40 minutes or so, you will find the talk valuable. And even if there are a couple of takeaways, even if there are two takeaways, then I will believe that my spending 40 minutes while traveling is worthwhile. I'm not in NCR, As I said, I'm in a remote village, remote town in in Odisha, with not very good internet bandwidth, but I still thought, since I had committed, let me go ahead and organize this call. So I'm absolutely fine. So remaining 15 minutes or so, what we would do is, thankfully the live chat session is open. So any question you have related to the theme or outside the theme, feel free to ask me. I'll try my best to answer your questions. That's how pretty much the session structure, the session flow for today would look like. Yeah. So with that, since I said, in 5 minutes we will start the discussion, there are 59 people already, and I hope, rest of the students would join as we move ahead. So let me not wait for anybody else. In the interest of time, I'll kickstart the discussion. So friends, good afternoon. Welcome back. And I hope all of you are really doing well, giving a tough fight to COVID. And welcome to Dr. HR, my YouTube channel, through which I normally carry out such sessions for multiple B schools. Happy to let you know, in the last 2 months or so, I've covered more than 8,000 students across ISB premium B schools like IIMs, Narsimonji, and other places, SP Jain, Symbiosis, and all of that. The intent is, during this time, I do believe that my 23 years of experience is meaningless if I'm not finding out an avenue to share it with young budding managers like you. Theoretically, probably you are good, you know it well, but as far as the practical nuances of managing HR is concerned, then I thought I should be sharing this with you. And with that intent, I created this Dr. HR YouTube channel. And hopefully, if you have not been able to visit the channel so far, go through that. It has speakers from across the globe, so best practices across the globe, and how some interview questions and things like that. Hopefully, that will be of interest to you. The channel name is Dr. HR, Doctor as in DR, and HR capital. So whenever you have free time, if that's of your interest, then please by all means go ahead and have a look at the channel. Now, coming back to our original point of discussion, my name is Anil Kumar Misra, Misra without an H. What it means is my roots are in Orissa, and I'm a Misra from Orissa, the border of Andhra and Orissa. So my native language is Oriya, but I speak fluent South Indian languages also. So I'm more like a South Indian, though my mother tongue is Oriya. I speak Tamil, I speak Telugu very, very fluently, that being the border state. Now, that's my name and other detail. In terms of my practical experience, in terms of me as a practicing HR, it's been close to 23 years right now. For the last 23 years, I've been practicing HR across sectors. God has been very kind. I have not repeated any specific sector. Meaning, I started my career journey with manufacturing. And the key learning, since the theme of our discussion today is key learnings, my leadership learning lessons, the number one is, small town boys, specifically landed in Delhi, and first assignment was Haryana Telecom in Rohtak, a place called Rohtak. So manufacturing setups like Haryana Telecom Limited, Denso Haryana in Manesar, in Gurgaon, outskirts of Gurgaon. That's where I got to work, and that was my initial first couple of roles. And friends, the interesting thing is, if you genuinely want to learn manufacturing practices, there cannot be a better sector than manufacturing. So when I'm saying manufacturing practices, what I mean is things like 5S, things like Kanban, things like Kaizen, things like TQM, things like TPM. So these are or quality circles. These are great learning practices, and manufacturing sector has taught me the nuances of learning, understanding, and managing those intricacies of people management in that kind of a setup. The next assignment was with the hospitality sector. I'm not a hotel management graduate, but I was very fortunate to get an opportunity to work for Oberoi Group of Hotels. My first assignment was in Chennai, Trident Hilton, Chennai. Then I was shifted to the Oberoi Raj Villas, which even today continues to be one of world's top 5 hotel. So in hospitality sector, my key learning as a leader, takeaway as a leader was, unlike a manufacturing process, friends, hospitality sector would have guest centricity. If you want to talk about a competency called guest centricity, unlike manufacturing and service sector, you do not have a product life cycle. You need to wait for 6 months to get the feedback how the product is being received in the market. But in manufacture, in service sector, more specifically in hotels, what happens is if the guest is happy with your services, with your food, you get to go and you get to get you will get your feedback right then and there. So it is very, very instantaneous. From that standpoint, my learning was more around how guest centricity is the core of the business. Everything revolves around guest centricity. That was my key learning working for Oberoi Hotels. Then I moved to a place called Patni Computers. I joined a sector called IT services, and if you talk about people management functions, then everybody would be kind of looking up to IT services. More specifically, you talk about performance management, talk about employee engagement, talk about other very, very mature people processes and policies. They were existing in precisely IT services form. They were very, very mature in IT services. So Patni Computers, I joined there in Hyderabad, and I was heading this entire HR for the South Zone, so Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai, and driving the entire end-to-end people management agenda for Patni Computers. Then typically Patni Computers got acquired by iGate when I was with them, and subsequently today iGate got also acquired by Capgemini. So all my friends who have chosen to stay with Patni Computers are now employees of Capgemini. Brilliant experience in terms of people practices like employee engagement, performance management, competency mapping, and then few other interesting people policies. From there, I moved to a company called Tesco, and Tesco is supposed to be globally probably second or third retail group. So understanding, and in the UK definitely they are number one, and in Bangalore, in a place called Whitefield, they have their back office called Tesco HSC, Hindustan Service Center. My role was to handle and drive the entire people agenda for IT services wing. So out of 6,000 employees, IT services would be close to 4,800. So the largest in that sense. So typically today in retail, when you talk about organizations like Flipkart or in Amazon in India today, we know that there are flexibilities. If you want certain stuff to be delivered at your doorstep, you can prefer. But I had experienced that twice during my stint with Tesco. I got an opportunity twice to operate out of Korea, Seoul, to be very specific. And when you travel through those tubes, you can determine, you can find out. You have a smartphone, and there are barcodes on the train only. You could find, if you want wine, if you want some sort of a grocery to be delivered, you can use the barcode, you can scan it, and it will get delivered at the time that you prefer it to be delivered. Now, the limited point I want to bring it to your notice here, friends, is my biggest learning there was how technology has been passed in the hands of customers. Purely from that standpoint, it was a phenomenal, great example, in fact. That was my biggest learning. And post Tesco, my next assignment was with an Indian promoter-led company. Recently, at that time, they went public. 17 plus years in its operation, they went public, and I'm hinting at a company called Just Dial, who were very, very synonymous with the anything in search business. 10 times 8, if you dial, you would get that information sent to you through text. So that was a brilliant example, brilliant company to work for. And in terms of stakeholder management, how an Indian promoter-led company, and that too, stakeholder management was my biggest takeaway, because the owners were the three brothers, the promoters were three brothers. So managing three brothers who had different business orientation, who had different business activity to drive, managing them as CHRO was quite challenging. At the same time, plenty of experience, and I freaked out, thoroughly enjoyed that experience. And I think there are very few Indian organizations. If you today talk about search business after Google, I do not see anybody in India. But probably they lost the race when it comes to search and transact. That's where I feel they could have done better. But nevertheless, one of the Indian promoter-led company which went public and doing really good, a profit-making company. I think this is one good example. Then my next assignment was with a company called Fidelity National Financial in Bangalore. It's again a 70, 80 year plus company, headquartered in a place called Jacksonville in Florida district, in Florida County. And my role was to again drive the HR agenda and CHRO for the entire group. I was operating out of Bangalore. All the three offices we had in Bangalore, I was managing that. But yes, I was also fortunate to operate from Orlando in Florida for this role. Biggest takeaway there is, the title insurance company, unlike India, if you are genuinely interested in spending your money and investing in real estate property, you do not know that there are 5, 6 people who would come with almost similar and original looking document, and you are confused. You do not know if your money is safe if you invest in that property. But unlike India, friends, in the West, everything is digitized, everything is privatized, meaning all the counties, they would have their land records digitized. You want to understand for 70 years who were the owners, are there any legal litigations and things like that, that report would really help you out in understanding those intricacies. And interestingly, Fidelity National Financial, they bought the entire land record, digitized land record, and that is privatized. That's how the business operates. So what it means is, if you genuinely want to invest in a property, you don't need to really break your head. You can go for title insurance. You need to pay a fee, and Fidelity will give you a clear title land record. And basis that, you can go ahead and you can pay the insurance and you can complete the transaction. And the learning is how a traditional industry, which is considered as a very, very traditional industry, completely kind of transferred technology in the hands of customer, and how it is privatized, and if it is digitized. That's a phenomenal case. That's a phenomenal learning for me. And I believe in India also, states like Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, and up to an extent Karnataka, they are in the process of making the land records digitally available. But I have a strong belief it will take decades in India to get into that stage. That was my biggest learning in terms of overall business. Now, cut to my current assignment, close to 4 years. I'll be completing my 4th year of association with Magic Bricks, which is part of a company popularly called Bennett and Coleman. Common name is, Times of India Group, right? So typically, let me give you a little context before I jump into my key learning. The context is, when you open a newspaper, Times of India, you see multiple columns. You see property related news, you see entertainment related, sports related, jobs related, matrimony related, and so on and so forth. So today, friends, any specific 2 decades back, the realization is the future is of digital. And hence, that time, the promoters, the leadership members, they thought and they developed full-fledged business. So today you talk about Ghana.com, Crickbuzz.com, you talk about Times Jobs.com, Times Internet Limited, or Magic Bricks. Each one of this continues to be a separate P&L, continues to be a fully grown and fully functional independent entities under the larger umbrella of Times of India Group or Times Internet Limited, most of the companies. As far as Magic Bricks is concerned, we have our own people policies, processes, and things like that. And we are profit making. It's in its 14th year right now, this year. And a year and a half back, we broke even. So it's a profit making entity. Yeah, closely, roughly around 1100 people, all put together. That would include your full-time employees as well as contractual employees. And that's what it is. That's the background. That's the preamble. Now, the reason why I thought, I must give you context about the kind of organization I have worked is simply because of the fact that when I share my experiences of dealing with people and my key leadership learnings in the last 23 years, that is not necessarily confined to any one organization, rather a combination of my experiences around multiple sectors. Now, every organization, this is industry agnostic. Now, let me take a pause here and jump into my learning bit. But before that, let me also give you very quickly a context, a preamble. Yeah. Thank you guys for that wonderful greeting from IIM Lucknow. Thank you, Tarini. Thank you, Asher. Thank you, Parth. Genuinely appreciate your warm welcome. So the second phase is every organization, as I said, this is industry agnostic. During the month of January, February, typically of an year, they carry out an activity called annual operating plan. So friends, what happens here in this phase is every organization, the leadership members, they sit together and then they identify which are the areas where we need to invest, which are the diversified business activity we need to get into. And this activity is called annual operating plan. What would be your digital marketing strategy? What would be your hiring plan? What would be the diversification plan? Just like any other industry, we were also done with this kind of an activity. Then came in this situation called COVID-19. That came in during March, the second or third week of March. Till the time everything was honky dory, everything was going as per the plan, and then we got hit with this COVID-19 situation, which completely changed our way we used to do business. Meaning, all the organizations, irrespective of the nature of the organization, all practitioners, including me, we had to go through broadly three phases. Yeah. Number one phase was focus was how, as an organization, we and what we need to be doing to survive. First phase was all about survival. Second phase was about what do we need to do to recover back the lost ground. So second phase was about recovery or recovering back the lost ground. Third phase was about what we need to do as an organization to win back the guest confidence or the customer confidence and get back to that excellence phase. So three broad phases: survival, recovering back, getting into excel mode. These are the three situations that I had gone through. This is my key learning. Number one, in survival phase, I'm talking about April, May, and June, when the government of India announced lockdown measures. It had severely impacted the economic activity all around us. You all have also witnessed, right? And during this time, every organization had their people, their payroll cost to take care of. They had availed services of multiple vendors. The vendors were waiting for money to be paid. Yeah, that was the situation, and that's when with the introduction of this COVID-19 situation, the number one priority is what we need to do to survive. And hence again, we went back to our drawing board. We identified, forget about annual operating plan, we reoriented our business strategy, and we came up with absolutely must to do activity and good to do activity. Must to do activity is, of course, payroll. The salaries got to be paid to people in time. The insurance related thing got to be taken care of. Vendor cost got to be taken care of, and the other basic stuff. Yeah. And second is good to do activities. Of course, this year we would not go for exotic locations for our offsites. Yeah. Or annual employee events, those kind of stuff. In doing it in good five-star hotels. Of course, the star hotels were also closed. Every business got severely impacted. But friends, my first learning here, which I want you to note it down, not necessarily in pen and paper, even here, the first learning is during survival, every organization found out numerous ways of managing their business to stay afloat, to stay relevant in the business. For that, people had to defer their joining bonuses. People had to defer their date of joining for new hires. People had to delay the annual increment processes. People had to keep and hold on the overall promotion processes. Anything which had cost impact, those things got majorly hit. And sadly, also certain layoff related decisions all across different sectors we have seen. So the biggest learning while dealing with such situation, keeping in mind the larger objective of how the organization will be successful, how the organization will survive this crisis, keeping that objective in mind, two key learning is, if you proactively go ahead and talk to people about, communicate about the situation, business scenario, and tell them that this is what we got to be doing, that is in the larger interest of the company. People have taken that positively to the extent possible. So the learning for me is communication, and probably at times over communication helped us out in terms of managing the situation better. Yeah, people are not against what you are doing, why you have retrenched 10% of the population. That people, if you go ahead and tell them, then they know it. So the two major key learnings are: number one, how you have done this, how you have managed this unprecedented situation will determine the success of an organization. I strongly believe in that. Meaning, two things you got to keep in your back of your mind, very very important. I want you to pay attention to this. Number one, you cannot afford to demean the dignity of labor. Number two, you cannot compromise on the core company values or organizational values. I repeat, the two learnings for me is, organizations who have kind of managed this situation, attrition or retrenchment or layoff is not a good decision at all. It's not a great feeling at all. But if it is inevitable, which we have seen, organizations who have done this, managed this with grace, with compassion, with without compromising the dignity of labor, to me are the winners. That's number one. Number two, every organization talks about the corporate values, organizational values. We do have five values like meritocracy, passion for excellence, high performance, team spirit, ownership. These are the five values that we have. Now the limited point here is, you cannot afford to compromise on the values. So there has to be ownership, there has to be high performance irrespective of the time that you go through. And I'm sure because of that, people like Ratan Tata also talked about those values during this time, and which had huge acceptance by all the practitioners. They could resonate with what he was mentioning. His opinion was, during difficult time, how could you leave your employees? Yeah, they have a family to take care of. So the limited point in the survival phase, what I have learned as an HR practitioner is, dignity of labor, you cannot compromise on dignity of labor. People need to be treated with utmost importance, utmost respect, utmost compassion. Number one, irrespective of the situation that you are currently going through or you had already gone through. Number two is, in keeping the short term benefits in mind, you cannot afford to compromise on your value system. Values are like your DNA. Irrespective of the time that you go through, we need to be definitely follow those values, because short term, in the process of institution building, if you are not serious about your values, if you compromise your values in any kind of an adverse situation, then people make a note of it, and then come what may, you cannot simply rebuild organization culture. So that was my number one learning. Number two learning, friends, is, any kind of an adverse situation is also a great opportunity for organizations, for individuals to innovate, to reboot their overall work styles. For example, during this COVID-19 situation, I'm talking about 6 months back till now, there are certain sectors who got severely impacted. Talk about sectors like hospitality, hotels, restaurant, bars, aviation sector, manufacturing sector, severely impacted. At the same time, on the contrary, look at the sectors who got phenomenal growth. Uh, uh, Look at education technology related companies, online education related companies. Look at healthcare. Look at YouTubing. Yeah, people like me who thought of getting into. My son, who is in ninth standard, I got now he is a YouTuber. So what I did is I drove that inspiration from him, and I said, okay, my 23 years of experience is meaningless if I'm not able to share and contribute to the larger audience, and at the same time do a little bit of branding for Dr. HR and for myself. With that intent, I got into Dr. HR creation of YouTube channel. And so the limited point I want to bring it to your notice here, friends, is any adverse situation, no need to feel sad. And why I have been focusing on my CGPA scores. Student communities normally have this thought in their mind. I've been working very hard, focused on academic, and did plenty of other activities, extracurricular one. During my time, only this COVID had to come. Friends, something where you do not have any control, no need to really crib or feel sad or feel stressed about it. This is a temporary phase. We had seen it in 2008, the Great Depression, and today it is our COVID-19. And mind you, this is not the end of the crisis. In future also, we will have similar crisis or any crisis of a new kind in future. So anything that you do not have any control, go with the flow. Do not compromise on your academic or your learning. And so the word here is agility and adaptability. The more you are adapt, the more you are agile, the better are your prospects of moving ahead successfully. And hence, my sincere advice or input or experience rather, which I wish to share, is something where you do not have any control, then no need to break your head. Yeah, this is a temporary phase. I'm optimistic. I'm sure the future would be great for all of us. Yeah, that's my learning number 3. Learning number 4, we all, irrespective of the industries that we belong to, everybody had work from home kind of an arrangements. Yeah, it was not an alien concept. If you talk about work from home, we also had policies related to work from home. But the mindset, the typically leadership members used to think that what is work from home for support functions like HR, for admin, for marketing, for sales, right? And what this pandemic did is completely changed the mindset. When everybody was forced to operate from home because of the lockdown, or currently all of us are going through that, then it changed the mindset that when it comes to the overall efficacy of an individual or a team, what matters is what has been an individual's net value addition to that organization. That is what matters. Whether you're punching in 10 hours, whether you are in office or you're operating from the beautiful beaches of Goa, that doesn't matter. So long as you add value to the company, that suffice. That makes sense. And organizations are going to be fine. There are numerous benefits of work from home, but my counter argument is, why do we talk about work from home? The future is going to be very, very flexible, and I'm saying work from anywhere. Yeah, the counter narrative to that is work from home. Why work from home? It could be work from anywhere. Nobody really bothers in a high performing organization culture, a culture where meritocracy is one of the core value. What matters is your net value addition, not necessarily from where you are working. And hence the future, I see that the trend is we will see more flexibilities in future, and organizations will give more and more flexibility. And in that context, work from anywhere will be of significant importance. For the easy understanding of student community, I thought, I will develop something which will keep reminding people about the core benefits of work from home or work from anywhere. I call it the acronym. It's acronym called STOP, wherein S stands for social distancing. Friends, if the WHO report got to be believed, the virus is here to stay. And only way out for people like you and I is to find out peaceful ways of coexisting with the virus. And the only way out is maintaining social distancing and putting masks. So in work from home arrangement, of course, this ensures you don't need to. You are at your place, you can take proper, precautions, and you can avoid this virus infection. Number two is for stop. S is for social distancing. T is for travel time. Travel time, it's an established fact, irrespective of the city that you are in. 20 to 25% of your effective time gets lost in transit, in commuting. And work from home, you don't need to commute. And hence, the assumption is ideally productivity levels got to be better if somebody is operating from home. ST, and then O is for office occupancy or office space. Gone are those days where organizations would be talking about having their own swanky campuses. In any unprecedented time and in any crisis, the focus is more on minimizing the impact on fixed assets. And hence, in future, we will see more kind of a flexibility. Work from anywhere is one option, and co-working spaces are also on rise, and hence organizations would not be required to invest hugely on office space. That's the third trend I'm seeing. Fourth one, P is for pollution. And as a practitioner, as a professional, by all means, I want economic activities to continue. But think of cities like Lucknow, think of cities like Delhi. When the stubble burning activity happens, or probably the pollution levels were killer for people affected with asthmatic attack or asthma, or young age kids, or probably old age people. And when everybody was following lockdown, and when the people got this work from home kind of an flexibility, there is a huge impact on the pollution levels. So because of these few examples, I think that the future trend, the learning is future will have more and more flexible work arrangements. And mind you, when we are talking about industrial revolution 4.0, it also talks about, and more specifically in India, 70% of the workforce is dominated by millennials and Gen Z. And Gen Z are the newer kids on the block. They are 95. Anybody born after 95, typically these are 25 years of age. And these people want more of a flexibility, more of a workplace and a workplace integration. And hence the future, I believe, would be more flexible. Third thing, sincere apologies if I'm sounding negative, but I believe that this year the recruitment activities would be drastically, across sectors, would be drastically impacted, and impacted negatively. Meaning, I'm not talking about any specific sector. In few sectors, you will see a surge in the recruitment activity, but in few sectors, there would be a freeze on the hiring related activities, at least this year, till the time this pandemic is over. And during this time, as I said, any adverse situation brings in a parallel or gives rise to a new sector. Typically, when there are reduction in the hiring activities, by and large across the country, then we will see also emergence of an economy called gig economy. Friends, mind you, globally gig economy is estimated to be $4.5 trillion industry. Cut to India. In India, it is estimated in the next 16 to 18 months' time, Indian gig economy would be roughly around $420 billion. The good news is India already features amongst world's top 5 nations who are already using gig workers. Probably it was happening in the blue collar segment more, that is visible. Meaning, just to give you an example, friends, today you have a washing machine or a AC to be repaired. So we call maybe a Just Dial or an urban company. They come, they do their job, they take the fee and go. When I'm talking about gig economy, which is $4.5 trillion business, what I'm hinting at is in the next couple of years' time, in India, it will be $420 billion. It is estimated another 6 million people are likely to join in the next 18 months' time, this gig economy. So, what it means is people who are already experienced and are job loss, there are plenty of job losses. They were already on the higher salary bracket and hence were prone to job losses. And certain category of those senior people are available in the market, because the mindset during difficult time is, with this salary I can have 3 4 junior staff. Yeah, but mind you, you cannot take that years of experience from them, and hence they are available in the market. And secondly, the mindset is, hey, I've been there, done that, let me do something on my own, and I need more flexibility. Of course, the similar kind of a salary. And the mindset is, I'm not married to any one company. I'm a subject matter expert, I'm a digital marketing expert, I'm a data analyst, I'm a merger and acquisition specialist. So what they would do is, they would render their services as a specialized service to multiple organizations. So this is what I mean by gig economy for white collar jobs, and that's going to gain further momentum in India. After the US and China, India is number 3. Then comes your Mexico and Japan and other countries. So already India features amongst top 5 nations in the world who are using gig economy extensively. And it's further. And then the other day I was in one of the panel, and on the same theme, gig economy theme, and I learned that there has been a surge to the tune of 20 to 25% demand in white collar gig workers in India. Now what's in it for student community? So friends, during difficult, I pray and hope that you should get a job of your choice, or you should get your summer intern of your choice. Meaning, if you want FMCG or a big 5, then you should get it. God forbid, in certain cases, some people, if they are not, my request to you is, grab the opportunity, whatever you are getting. Do not look at sector, do not look at the emolument. These are very momentarily, you will get it in difficult time. But you should join an organization with the intent of ensuring that learning is not compromised. Your years of experience, nobody can take it out. And hence, short term compromise, if it is needed just to stay relevant, by all means do that. In long run, definitely you would be a winner. Yeah. So my also, but mind you, even during this unprecedented times, yeah, learning activity did not stop. Yeah, or hiring activity did not stop in organizations, right? Meaning, even in the month of April, May, June, my organization and I know other organizations in other sectors, the hiring activity for critical activity was on, for critical position was on. And hence, I'm happy to conclude, I'm happy to make a statement that talent would always be a winner. The learning for me is, talent would always be a winner irrespective of the time that we go through, right? Now, let me not make it a very monologue kind of a thing, and in between ask few questions. So question to Anusha, question to Anurag, question to Pragya is, who is your competition? Question to Ajit, Priya, and Kanucharan, who is your competition? Your competition, when you are talking about industrial revolution, you're talking about a digitized economy, your competition is not necessarily friends who are going to pass out from IIMB, IIMC, IIM Lucknow in India alone, but you will have to compete with people who would pass out from China, Japan, the US, UK, Australia, any place. Yeah. Now, the counter question to you is, why should anybody hire you? What is so unique about you? Why would anybody hire you? Though these are difficult questions, friends, I want you to introspect, find it out, and then I'll give you a few tips also. Why should anybody hire you? You need to identify your key unique value proposition, your key offerings, right? And during this unprecedented time, when you are confined to your respective places, you have plenty of time at your disposal. So, my humble request to you would be acquire a new skill. So I'm trying to highlight on the point how personal branding and networking plays a larger role. When I'm saying talent would be a winner, hiring happened during difficult times also. Now you will get to know about the positions, the companies who are hiring, provided you are well networked in the professional circle, provided you have an industry mentor who would let you know that these are the companies who are hiring, or these are the skills that is gaining momentum. Hence, friends, my request is during this time, when you have lot many time at your disposal, acquire a new skill. Number one, it could be digital marketing. So the skills, the competencies that has gained significant importance right now, and mind you, which is not part of your JDs, they are not specifically mentioned, but which is very very important right now is your design thinking, your problem solving approach, your emotional question, your predictive modeling, your data analytics piece, plus your ability to take people along, your soft skills. Organizations, people, leaders talk about soft skill. I call it life skills, meaning your presentation skills. Your, for example, if you are good at writing, prepare a white paper, submit it, and let people make a note of that. Similarly, if you have a better tech inclination, the world is full of problem. Try and address a problem by creating an app, and people would get you would get visibility. People will notice you. These are the ways of getting highlighted. Simply sending an LinkedIn invite, people might not accept your invite because the assumption is that's just like another invitation. But if you follow a specific sector, if you follow a specific leader, talk to them about that common interest area, then the chances are huge. And that's a starting point. The end point is they're acting as your mentors. They're helping you out in your career journey. They're helping you out when you are stuck up. And hence, friends, my learning is all the time your personal branding and networking ability will hold the key to your success. Beyond a point, it is all your networking skill. Why? The assumption is if you are good at networking, if you get stuck up, you know how to pull the strings, you can make things work. Yeah. So always very, very important. Focus on these aspects. Again, since I'm addressing student community, I want you to also realize in good times when we visit your campus, how do we do our interview process? We will look at CGPA, we will do some GD, some written test, followed with we'll shake hand and we'll do an interview, right? But today what we are doing is the shortlisting or screening happens through what do you call the profiles. And post that, what we do is we kind of do a telephonic round. In telephonic round, I can't also see you, then followed with a video discussion, video interview. Now, mind you, a face-to-face interviewing skills versus a telephonic skill versus a video conferencing like this, everywhere the skills or the competencies required are different. How well are you prepared? What are you doing to be equally successful in all those three platforms would determine your success. And it requires a lot of practice, my dear friends. Yeah. Your tonality, your voice modulation, how you dress, your look, feel, your body language, everything would play an important role in the overall success of your candidature. So these are a few of the learning that I have had. And last learning that I would see, that I would share with you in the interest of time is, I have realized that, during good times, there are organizations who would talk about all those valuation games. Majorly the startup companies, they played the game of, valuation. We are world's largest hospitality group with the maximum room inventory or these many cars, etc., etc. But in difficult times, they had to shut the shop or probably go for mass exodus in terms of number of positions, in terms of number of retrenchment or layoff related activities are concerned. So the learning trend is companies who are doing good and who have got good cash reserves, whose P&L balance has got good cash reserves, are the companies who would find it relatively easier to tackle any kind of unprecedented situation. It's very, very important to target companies who are cash rich companies, because the bubble of valuation game that has burst already, and no fun in no fun in joining or aspiring to join those sectors who in difficult times would not be of much support. So that is also one more realization that individually I have had as a professional. So probably these are some of my top of mind learning, leadership learning lessons I have had so far. And quick five also, just before I summarize and conclude my session and open Q&A. I have learned five, there are four C's. One is C. First C is for communication. Any crisis, communication, because people are anxiety, there are plenty of anger, there are plenty of uncertainty around there. Got to tell them about how your business is doing, till how long we will continue with this work from anywhere kind of a concept, and whether my job is safe or not. Those kind of curious questions you need to go ahead and proactively communicate. Anybody who communicated that proactively are the winners. Yeah. Second C is about compassion. Compassion is about empathy. It's not about sympathy. For example, I'll make a statement. Hey, sad to hear that you lost your job. Sad to hear, underline here. That is sympathy. Empathy is I can feel what you are probably going through because you have a job loss, recently job loss. When you feel, when you internalize, that is the time you will have compassion, and that is the time when you will walk beyond the call of your duty to help somebody, and through your own network organizations. In even in my case, in our organization, our recruitment activities were little confined, and my 12 member team, they were relatively free. So the people, the roughly 10 20 people who got impacted with this kind of a scenario, what we did is we explored outplacement opportunities with outside vendors. We took help of our recruitment team and prepared biodata, posted it on job sites, gave them links of organizations who are hiring. That has gone really well. So second C is about compassion, very, very important while you deal with people related issues. Third issue is about employee connect. Man is a social animal, normally we talk about, right? So people would not want to live in isolation, and mental stress and other related ailment would come in. And hence, our focus was how do we stay connected with them. So you talk about online tombola, you talk about onboarding, virtual onboarding, you talk about virtual town halls and virtual reward and recognition. Everything happened online. In fact, and that has helped us out on, or also to the extent of having evening parties, get together through Zoom calls. You carry your food, but normally have a laugh over a call. That has reduced the mental stress. And friends, after the fourth one is about concern and catharsis. People were concerned about their job, they were concerned about their well-being. Meaning, if they get infected with this virus, whether the company has insurance which will take care of the family members, the company has a tie-up with any hospital, should there be a need, whether they will get a bed or not. These were some of the questions in the back of their mind. And very, very importantly, when you address them, people proactively, when you take care of those nuances, then ultimately that goes really well with people. Last C, or rather the fifth C, is catharsis. Catharsis is a concept which got emerged during Aristotle time. What it means is, suppressing somebody's point of view is not good for mental health. Meaning, allow people to speak their mind when people are going through job losses or stress related stuff. Then sensitizing people managers to at least give them a sensitive and patient hearing. Listen to them. Don't be defensive. Just hear them out. Let them vent out their anger, their angst, their frustration. This is very good for mental health. So we had to handhold and we had to do those kind of a thing. And I have seen other organizations also doing that. So catharsis, communication, concern, connect, these are the 5 C's that played a significant role while dealing with this unprecedented situation. So, friends, those were few of my leadership learning lessons I have had in my career. In the interest of time, I would not be able to discuss anything beyond this. We have 5 7 minutes left, and I will take top 3 questions on first come first serve basis. And this is Q&A time. Feel free and go ahead and ask me questions. But before that, do let me know if you found this session beneficial, and if there were at least 2 learning for each one of you. If that is the case, I feel you and I spending time was beneficial. And sorry for the ambience, the background noise, the internet bandwidth speed. But yeah, I'm traveling, and hence this is the best I could have done at this time. Yeah. So this is Q&A time. I'm glad, Swapnil, you liked the session. I hope those were your honest and blunt feedback. Yeah. And guys, yeah, on a side note, I also wanted to let you guys know, even during difficult time when there is a hiring freeze, I've already got in touch with your placement agency. Last time we hired, I guess, 4 people from your institution. This year also we have plans of, campus hiring from IIM Lucknow. So don't worry. Definitely there are companies lined up. So no need to, as I talked about, the sphere of control and sphere of influence. You can't control certain stuff that is beyond your influence, beyond your reach. No need to think about it. Think positive, stay indoors. That's the way out, friends. Chandrasekhar, great session, sir. Thank you so much, Chandrasekhar. Core principle you hold with respect to prioritizing people, something all admire. Thank you, Chandra. Kakad Sagar. Yes, sir. The session was did entire my key learning to be open-minded during crisis, importance of networking and personal branding. Yes, could not explain that in words, but you would realize how important your personal branding. At 46, my age, physiological age is 46, though I think like 26-year-old or just like you, as your friend. But at my age, 46, if I can think of getting into YouTubing, I'm still struggling when I had to ask people, please do subscribe to my channel, which I'm sure if you like the session, my next request is going to be, please do subscribe to Dr. HR, my YouTube channel. Uh, so any branding, visibility, there is no end to it, and there is no stage, there is no age barrier. So learning and, for sharing, for your personal branding and networking, there is no age. It's all in your mind. If you want to do, you should be able to do. Indurti, question. Thank you for the session. I'm glad you liked it. How do you think the work from home situation impacted new joiners in the organization? They do not get to meet the people. Absolutely. You have nailed it, in fact, Indurti. The people we have hired from IIM Lucknow, what we did is their induction, onboarding, everything happened virtually. The laptop and other instruments that was required, we had to courier them to their respective hometowns. So from that standpoint, whatever we could have done, we did that. But I also did employee connect session. I call it fresh eyes, meaning all the new people who join. I try and reach out to them just to understand how that onboarding experience has been, whether they have settled down in the system or not. So we did, as I said, onboarding and tombola, online reward recognition, all online town halls to just keep them updated. But all this are not supplements. All this, there is no alternative to personally we meeting and saying hi to each other. or probably a pat on the back, probably asking them about their well-being in person. But this is the best that we could do in this kind of a scenario. And I'm thinking, my thought process is, this shall also pass away. And again, we will get back to those glorious good times where we can meet up in person, we can greet, and we can have coffee, tea together. Manish has a question, and that's my last question for the day. As a fresher, I feel that missing out an experience of a real workplace due to COVID can be detrimental to some key learning, undoubtedly, Manish. But again, this is not in your control, not in my control. We would not want people to forcefully go to workplaces just for the sake of learning. And think of young kids. My daughter is in fifth standard, so the entire education is online. So the child's development is typically outside classroom when they meet up with people. But what do you do in this situation? The number one priority for all of us is how we will ensure our safety and well-being of all our colleagues. And when that is our number one priority, then you would try and find out other ways of dealing with the situation. While I do understand that these are the challenges. On top of that, the work from home also has got few unique challenges: the network bandwidth, and assumption that if you are doing work from home, then you should be available 24/7. No, those were initial hiccups, but right now everybody understood. It's absolutely fine if you did not pick up my call. You have a family. Probably you're taking your lunch with your family member. So initially, these are the hiccups, and these are the challenges that we got to fine tune, and we got to deal with this. And even today we are talking about the stress related issues when work from anywhere, work from home is a reality. So there are certain changes, and don't worry, we all will get back to our good old times. And I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for your patience, and I'm glad I could take out this time while traveling, and I could manage this place to do this call. I hope, and I'm glad that some of you have shared your input, that this session was of use to you, and there were a couple of takeaways for some of you. Thank you so very much, and genuinely appreciate your patience. Take care. All the very best. Stay safe. And don't forget to subscribe to Dr. HR. I hope some of you will subscribe to Dr. HR, and we will stay connected through that mode. Yeah. All the very best, guys. Take care. Thank you.